Looking forward to catching up with you. So, first and foremost, thank you, sir, for taking a minute out for Neon Jazz.
My pleasure. I'm glad you like the record.
Oh, yeah, I love it, man. So, I'm old school. I still put it in the CD chamber, watch the world whiz by me. That's the way to
Oh,
do
yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
The birds diving, the clouds moving. I love it. So, let's begin our journey into your album and your world of music by asking you this. 5 years ago, this pandemic was really raging. It did so much to everyone, especially musicians. How much of living through that period has affected the way that you do things today, whether with this album, teaching, being a musician? How did it affect you?
I realized how important music is to everybody. And music at that time was a refuge for me. It was I had my entire family, we were all in the house together. And, music gave me an opportunity to be creative in another way. I'm used to being around people and playing gigs and that kind of thing. Somehow we were able to do some of that, a very limited amount of that. And put this quintet together. We'd been playing together for a couple of years prior, and so uh, this opportunity, I looked at it as an opportunity to kind of shore up some things that we had been working on, and then just go in the studio and record it and see what happens.
So this album is an homage to Memphis, your stomping grounds. So talk to me a little bit about, going back to your roots, there's probably a plethora of material that you could have picked from to come up with this album. How did you ultimately cull through and meet that artistic vision?
Well, it's sort of a culmination of a lot of things over a lot of years. And so I think the thing that hits me right now is mentorship. There were some really fantastic mentors. I had great teachers in elementary school through high school, and there was a big focus on the arts. Starting when I was in the fourth grade, we had a principal there who was really into the arts, so much so that he acted in our Christmas shows and that sort of thing every year. He was a big proponent of that. And then I met a lot of really wonderful musicians, one of which was James Williams, the great piano player who played with Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Another is Donald Brown, and then Mulgrew Miller. And so for me, those three guys are sort of my three muses, if you will. And so I'm always focused on them. And I've just decided well, maybe 5 or 6 years ago that I would really focus on the three of them, their music and what they do, and I would just do that for the rest of my life. And kind of got that from James Williams, who was, he lived in New York, played with Art Blake and the Jazz Messengers, and he had his own bands. And he would always do wonderful things for Memphis. He would come home every year and do what we called the holiday homecoming concert, and they would call me to play bass. And so I'd be on the stage, and Mulgrew would come out. I'd play a set with Mulgrew. James would come out, do a set with him. Donald Brown would come out. I would do a set with him. And so there was just this respect for all things Memphis.
So take me back to your beginnings in Memphis. How did music and more specifically jazz become your destiny?
Okay. Well, I started playing when I was in the fourth grade in my school orchestra, playing violin and then cello. So I played cello throughout uh, elementary school and middle school and on into high school. Somewhere around the ninth grade, I decided to play the bass. And I was always around great musicians. I mean, my high school band director, his name was Emerson Abel. He taught Isaac Hayes. He was Isaac Hayes' band director. And so this man was a genius. He would handwrite with the calligraphy set all of our charts, for a jazz band. And he played in the Memphis Horns. He was an alto saxophone player. And so I was always around this royalty. They were just there. And they were excellent, top-notch musicians. A lot of them went to college on the GI Bill, and they came home and they got their master's degrees and this sort of thing. And then they got in the public school system and they taught us. And that's how I got here.
What was the first live jazz show you saw that blew you away that maybe made you think, I want to do that one day?
I don't know. Music has always been swirling around me,
Yeah,
so it's never been just a jazz thing. It's
gotcha.
always been just music. And so I've played in symphony orchestras, I've played for choirs in the church, and so for me, I was just always play music. But I will tell you that the one thing that really focused me on playing jazz, and it didn't happen until I was in college. One day I went and picked up this record called Black Codes from the Underground by Wynton Marsalis.
Yeah,
And I remember the day I went to buy that album, that's what it was, and I put that record on and listened to it. And within the first 30 seconds, I was hooked. I was like, this is what I want to do.
I love it.
Uh-huh.
So let me ask you this. You've had the chance over the years to play with some heavy cats, legends, veterans. What have you gleaned from being around them that you in turn try to teach your students or younger musicians that you get on the bandstand with?
Yeah. Well, preparedness is a very big thing, and you have to love it because when you get on the bandstand with people who love it and live it, and that's a part of their lifestyle, you can't be playing around. They will let you know quick, fast, and in a hurry that you shouldn't be there. And when I was growing up, I had a lot of older gentlemen that I would play with, and they did not mince their words at all. And I can remember very specifically what they would say to me. And I give these lessons to my students. I tell them this is what happened to me when I was younger. And so, when you walk in this office, you better be coming to make some music. If not, that's going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. And so that's kind of my focus. There's a level that they need to be playing at, and they need to get to that quickly, and they need to know how to get to that every day. And that's where the lifestyle comes in. So.
So you've dedicated your life to this art form, to this music, and I'm curious, what gets you up every day? Why do you love being a musician and an educator?
Because I know the power of music. I've seen it. I've seen what it does. It's been great in my life, and I've seen it transform other people's lives. I teach here at Florida State University. This is one of the largest music schools in the country, and so I see lots of really wonderful musicians, and I see what it does for them. We have like 100% placement here. Can you imagine that? What
Yeah,
other business can say that?
yeah.
And so that's the power of music. And I believe that music can change this world. And that's why I put this record out. Um, I deeply believe that music has magical powers.
It certainly does. I agree. So what are you ultimately hoping the listener gets from this album?
Well, I hope that first and foremost, I hope they listen to the entire record because with my students, a lot of us nowadays, we're listening to singles. We have iTunes and that kind of thing. And so I think that we're losing that whole idea of going on a musical journey when you put a piece of music on. And so I intentionally on this record, I didn't leave very much time between the tunes. If you you notice, so
Yeah.
very quick turnover, so that you can really transition into the next tune and hopefully enjoy the whole journey of the entire record. Now I know that's not going to happen with everybody. So on the other side of that, I intentionally didn't make the tunes too long. A lot of them are like 5 minutes. There are a couple in the middle that are a little bit longer, like Hargrove and Memphis Blue, but the others are fairly short. I remember reading something about Miles Davis. Miles was talking about the record. He said that the recording really all it is an advertisement for the concert.
Yeah.
And so I sort of took that approach with this record.
So if you could see a dream show, speaking of miles and legends and luminaries, if you could get into a time machine and see one musician in their element on stage in the annals of jazz history, where would you go?
I would go to see Thelonious Monk live and in person.
Yeah.
Live at the It Club. I would be sitting there at the It Club checking out Thelonious Monk. Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you love this art form we call jazz?
Well, I like the art form because it was created by African Americans and it's sort of our gift to the world. And the thing I really like about this music is it has the ability to take on every uh, culture there is on the planet, and it still maintains its own integrity. And how many things can you say that about?
Yeah, totally. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, fans, students, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, I am a vessel for the music. And I am trying to get the music from the musicians to the audience because I know what it can do, and I'm interested in getting the music to the average person. I know that sometimes we have connoisseurs who like to listen to jazz, and so it turns into this music that's only for certain people. But I want this music to be for school teachers and people who work for, I don't know, the sanitation department, or if you deliver mail. I want to write music that a lot of people would enjoy listening to. I
Well,
mean, there's one piece on there I sort of imagined, like Hargrove, that tune. I sort of imagined that people in my family would be sitting around playing spades, and this is what would be playing in the background.
yeah, I love that. So let me ask you this. What are you doing for promoting this album? Where is the best place for people to pick up the album? All of that good business.
Okay. Well, the best place to go is my website, rodneyjordanmusic.com, and we're updating that website every day. And so you'll know where you can get the record. By the way, we're going to have LPs coming very soon. And so the LPs have a download on the inside of them for those people who still need to get music that way. But I'm encouraging people to listen to it on the LP because I think a lot of this type of music, acoustic music like this was meant to be listened to, not in a digital format, but in a live audio format, old school tubes and that sort of thing, solid state, if you will. And so I'm hoping that people check the music out there.
I love the smile musicians have when they talk about the vinyl. It always comes out. So thank you so much. Thank you for taking a minute out today. Again, I love the album. Thank you for taking a minute out to open up your world. I appreciate it. And I look forward to the next releases, man.
Thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure.
Joe Domino here, host of KC's Neon Jazz Radio. On International Jazz Day, April 30th, join us at the Music Hall in downtown Kansas City for the event of the year, 90 Years of Count Basie's Swing. At 7 p.m., the world-famous Count Basie Orchestra takes the stage. From 5 to 7 p.m., it's a VIP reception with jazz legends and honorees. Finally, from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., join the after-party jam session at Lonnie's Reno Club inside the Ambassador Hotel. Tickets are moving fast. Get yours now at kccreativecity.com/count-basie. This event is part of International Jazz Day, supported by the UNESCO Creative Cities Network, with Kansas City proudly standing as America's only creative city of music. I'll see you there, Kansas City.